Good morning, it's 5:30 a.m. This is the 20-mile run preparation. So, we're starting off with a little amino synergy and Creaclear. I like creatine just for muscle energy purposes. Even though it's more of a lifting, traditionally used in lifting supplement, I like to use it in my runs too, just to make sure that I'm either fueling my muscles to rebuild or fueling them for, say, like a hill in running. Okay, I'm going to show you my oatmeal. Now, I don't always measure out the oats, but for this purpose, for the video I am. So, zero it out. For 50 grams, they say a half a cup is about 40 some. I'm gonna just overflow just a little. And we got 60. That'll be perfect. Alright, while this is cooking, we're gonna go through the regimen of what we're gonna be doing in the workout. So, I got 2 goos. And each of these have about 20 grams of carbs, and then I got a whole row, 6 blocks of Cliff Block here. These ones have caffeine in it, especially when I'm running like that far, 20 miles. It really helps to have the caffeine. Both of these are caffeinated. I'm gonna take a lot of caffeine during this time. I think it helps you go farther. Caffeine is a safe ergogenic aid. Kind of helps you get in some water, I think, too. I'll be having 1 water in here. I'm gonna be filling this Gatorade up, 16 ounces in here, and that's gonna get me about like 500 calories or so. Sounds like a lot, but when I'm gonna be running, 20 miles, I'm gonna be burning like 2,000, and it helps to keep the blood sugars up, because as you're running or exercising, you're lowering your blood sugar down. So I found that when I'm going that far of a distance, if I don't have something to keep my blood sugar up, I get, you hit the wall for one thing, but I also find that I get kind of sick. So it helps keep my blood sugar up. Similar, you have a similar reaction with low blood sugar and high blood sugar. You get lightheaded and dizzy from just not having enough energy. So, as you can see, I like this just a little bit soupy. You can't really see it that well. I like this a little bit soupy, just because when you throw the protein powder in, it's gonna get thick. You can always recover if you cook it too much by throwing a little milk or water in. In fact, you might see me, I might have to do that with this one. And I throw the protein powder in. So for these long runs, I always eat this meal. Protein. I got some French vanilla protein by Optimum. Either that or the gym Tahitian vanilla bean. I always use vanilla in there. I've done a chocolate banana too before, but just 1 scoop of that. So we're gonna come back to the scale here too. I usually do like 50 grams of blueberries or so. I'm just gonna throw the rest of this in here. Like mixing this up first. And again, if it's too thick, you just add a little water in there. I kind of like it a little bit thicker, because I'm always drinking the rest of that amino synergy, which is a lot of water. So sometimes by the time I'm actually racing, I have in quite a bit of water, and that can have potential negative side effects of going to the bathroom if you're not smart about it. So got to zero it out. Ooh. Double what I normally have. 100. Throw in some honey. I usually do like 10 or 20 grams. and that is breakfast. It is important to note that I'm gonna probably be eating this like a little bit less than 2 hours before my run. I kind of like doing that. A lot of people say to do 2 to 3 hours before your race or run. I found that I honestly just need to stay fuller longer, so if I eat a little bit sooner than race, I don't usually have stomach issues. I like to look at it as I'm continuously putting in fuel with whether these goose blocks or Gatorade and electrolyte drink and water, just to kind of keep things up, so that I don't deplete myself. I always like to think of it as like a graph. If my energy from food is up here and it's gonna start to go down as I run, I get a goo, kind of brings it back up, and I'm trying to keep it up so that it doesn't just dip down and I hit that wall and I get hungry, because once I start thinking about food, it's game over. But this is breakfast. Let's get it. I'm gonna take you through one of my favorite routines for just warming up before the warm-up. Certainly you don't need to do the yoga before. I find it really helps just loosen up muscles, warms them up, gets the blood in there for the foam rolling. Foam rolling has been a huge difference in my running, just looseness of the muscles when I'm going, especially 20 miles. We'll start you with a deep inhale up, and then exhale down into forward fold. Inhale halfway, exhale, walk it out into plank. Deep inhale in, exhale down, tuck the toes, inhale upward dog. Exhale down, deep inhale in, exhale push into downward dog. Inhale, look into the hands, exhale down to the toes. I like to loosen up my neck in this. Force those shoulders. Then I'll start to pedal it out, get those calves in there. Notice how I'm not holding super long. I'm always moving in this just to get blood flowing. Holding the stretch will come after as recovery. Inhaling back into plank. I'll move my hands in a little bit, do a runner's lunge. Stepping in, reaching up, squeezing the glutes, pushing those hips down. Just find that this one really helps get my inner thigh warmed up, reaching up over a little chest. I'm just gonna do one each side today. Push back into that downward dog. A couple more pedals. Then we're gonna walk it up. One of my personal favorites, I'll do the inhale halfway, exhale a little deeper, those hammies in there. Then one of my favorites is the sunflower. So, we'll do kind of that mountain again, inhale up, little back bend, exhale down. Okay, hands grab elbows, and then what you're gonna do is, I like to just bring right shoulder across, inhaling up, and you'll get that stretch on that side and that oblique and that hip right at the top there. Before coming down, exhaling out, inhaling up, and exhaling down. Now this is the side that I'm really tight in that area, so I really like to go slow. Okay, now I got the heart rate up a little bit, blood's moving. I'm gonna do one leg first before, just save a little bit of time here. And I need to just start with whatever I think needs it the most. So I'm gonna go calf today. Turn it sideways so that they're aiming for it. So you can start always both I'm gonna start just one. Okay, one gets you a little bit more. Top leg crossed on the bottom for whatever one, the bottom one's the one being worked. And I'd like to start at the ankle and then roll yourself up. Sometimes I go back and forth here. I've got a tight spot right on the front above my ankle there. It always helps. Giving that a little bit of a love there. And this will be something I do quick, usually before, like 10 minutes. And you can do both legs. I could then switch to the other calf, or just one leg I switch off between the two. Okay, since that's a lot of work on those wrists there, I'll flip over and be into more of a plank position. And for hamstring and quad, this one's gonna be quad, you're gonna be right above the knee. And I'm gonna cross, deep inhale in, exhale, push yourself away. Inhale into it, exhale, push away. Yeah, you'll find some tight spots here. In a tight spot, you can always bend into it. That kind of hurts, so I always go slow. I'll turn onto my side just a little bit. And you wanna not roll on your IT band. I watched a ton of videos on that. It's not good for you. But what I am doing is on the side of it where the muscle connects to the band. That IT band's on the direct side, down my hip. So I'm just tilted onto it a little bit less. And I do kind of like to come up onto the hip a little bit too. And sometimes I just kind of back and forth on that. Sometimes I come a little bit more to that inside, open up that knee. That'll come a little bit more. It's more mainly the quad that you're focusing on here. Then since we're kind of in position, hamstring will go next. Same thing, behind that knee. Deep inhale in, exhale, push and pull. This one I'll do again, kind of different angles. Tilting the knee to the side. Tilting that knee to the outside. You might find you need to work on your plank or dips to be able to hold this position. Just do a couple of rolls to start off. And then as you get stronger, you'll be able to maintain a little bit more, be comfortable in it. Foam rolling, just like any exercise, is something that you have to progressively work up to. You're not going to start off doing a lot of foam rolling. It's going to be a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm going to face this way for you guys for this one. So adductor, inner thigh, this one's super important for me. Get tight there. Like a 45-degree angle in line with that bottom leg there, and then, or the lower leg, and then just rolling out, rolling in. I find if my back foot is holding me up, it helps roll a little bit easier, but whenever you feel most comfortable, that knee can be down. It's kind of a weird motion. I'm just basically moving my hip to the outside. Sometimes I stay on that inner portion. That's where I get really tight. Those muscles connect to your pubic bone. And sometimes too, this one I'll kind of come up on top of that quad just a little differently. And last but not least, your glute. Sometimes I'll start with a little bit of both. You want to start at the bottom of the glute and then roll your way up. Okay, make it single. Right leg comes on. I like to come down to like this side plank position, and then same thing. I usually need right up on that top of that hip. So I'll sometimes just kind of bring that knee down to the ground and up. So almost like you're working across the muscle. And then you can roll it up and down. But the side to side, I feel, works at the best. that's a little bit of foam rolling for you. Like I said, super important, game changing for long runs. I highly recommend. We're at 21st, where the lake walk starts. It's like the flattest path in Duluth. I'm gonna run north, end up on Scenic 61, kind of the Grandma's Marathon route. It's important to note that I'm gonna show you some warm-up moves, but I'm gonna get everything set up so I can just start running after this warm-up. I always adjust my pack and things like that so I can feel, you know, how it feels on me if I need to make any adjustments. Yeah, I had to do a little more warm-up for my adductor. It might seem weird to do like some side-to-side lateral movements before a run. I find it super important because those muscles you don't necessarily use as much since you're going forward to back in running. Still important to have warmed up and worked before. I just feel like it goes a lot better. Plus, it sets me up for success with my adductor injury that I had a while back. It still gets tight every once in a while. Let's go. About 4 miles in, we're at the Brighton Beach. Feeling pretty good. Right ankle's a little sore, tight where I was at on that foam rolling spot, but overall ready to crush it. And I'm averaging probably just under a 10-minute mile pace, a little faster than I wanted to, but it's feeling good. So I slow myself down, breathe, heart rate staying low, and take you along the Brighton Beach. Not much of a beach, beautiful scenic spot to park and sit on a non-windy day we got today. Hour in, 6 miles down, feeling good. Ankles loosen up a little. All the muscles feeling good. Got beautiful superior. So I love running this Grandma's route. And we'll check in at 10. Hour down, about 2 to go. All right, 10 miles down, just turned around. Hour and 35 or 6 minutes here. About to have a goo. Oh. Remember, it's about keeping that energy up. Not letting it get too low. Otherwise, that's when the wall starts to hit. Negative thoughts. You know, probably think, what do you think about on this 3-hour run? Because that's what I'm on pace for. And you know, I don't try not to think about too much. Just let the music kind of guide me along. Staying positive, just being grateful, thankful that I'm out here, thankful that my body is allowing me to run 20 miles, run 3 hours. You know, that's it.
just staying positive and being happy about doing this rather than thinking of it as another mile. I'm just being grateful that I'm here doing this, and you know, thinking of my goals, especially when it gets tough, when the negative thoughts hit, thinking about the goals. You know, it's gonna be tougher in that race. You never know what conditions gonna be thrown at you. Just stay positive. Today is a beautiful day. Breeze, bright sun, and blue sky. Man, ran about, you know, average, I'd say it's probably like 9:30 right now. I'm having trouble keeping that pace. I'm either too fast or too slow, but now gonna get a little looser with my pacing. Heart rate's been good, about that 140, 150, but what I try to stay at. And yeah, checking at 15. Arguably one of my favorite views along here, McQuaid Harbor. Probably can't even see it. Bridge is just microscopic. What's also cool is you can see up the long way of the shore. All right, 15 miles, 2 hours, 23 minutes. Coming up on Brighton Beach. Feeling it. Definitely feeling it a little bit. Gonna slow down a little. Came out the gate a little fast. I knew I was, but sometimes you just can't stop. I'm gonna take it into town. That's how I feel. And I'm hoping to get that 9:30 pace, or 9:30 pace down to like an 8:30. We'll see. And we'll see you at the 20 mile. And that is a 20-mile run. As you can see, 2,477 calories burned. Now you know I ate like a good, 1,500 pre and in the run. 3 hours, 7 minutes, 9:22 mile pace. I'm very happy with that. Heart rate a little high, but otherwise all good. I'm gonna walk it off here, and we'll see you in the stretch. All right, one tip that I want to mention that I like doing is leaving just a little bit of the pre-workout or amino energy, whatever you take, at the end, and also a protein bar. For me, the protein bar is essential to refueling. Even if I'm not really that hungry, I kind of can force myself to get it down. It's not really forcing. I'm pretty hungry usually after this. So assuming that I, keep up on my energy and don't let my blood sugar get low, like explained earlier. And it should be noted that with all this talk about caffeine and my love for it with training, I don't take usually more than like 300 milligrams a day, which is equal to like 4 cups of coffee. So it's not like I'm out here getting crazy off these stimulants, but it does help push longer, harder, faster, and science has proven that. So yeah, now on to the stretch. Back from the run. This is the post-stretch routine, and then after that I'll go into foam roll again. Just like the foam roller on my shoulder, one side. A couple of these are both-sided. I would just do the same stretch over if they are. Since the front of my legs are tightest, I'm gonna start with that. Toes are gonna be down. You might not be able to even get into that. Oh, that's a little crampy. So we're gonna start with downward dog first. Get the calf stretched out. Pushing this back. Pedal into it. It's the only problem with starting with that toes down one. Sometimes if you're really tight, it just cramps right up. Deep inhale in, slow exhale out as you're pedaling out. Okay, now we'll try this. So, toes are gonna be down, sitting down into it, staying tall. Okay, it's gonna stretch that front of those calves out. Okay, at first you might have to be, knees bent and not as much into it. It took me a while to work into this one. I'll kind of show you one that we can get to it after this. Child's pose, we'll do that same thing. So I like to move my hips back and forth just a little bit to kind of roll them out. So where you can really work on that deep breathing, relaxing out those muscles. So dynamically, for the warm up, you're moving those muscles. Static, you're just lengthening them out. Main thing with the dynamic is getting that heart rate up, blood in there. Static, just lengthening out and lowering that heart rate. So if you can't do the last one, you're going into child's pose, which I like doing anyway and probably would have thrown in the mix. Deep inhale in, reaching those hands up. Exhale, release. Okay, this one's for the quad and hip flexor. Left knee's gonna come up. Right hand, right glute tight. And then just squeezing that right glute. You're gonna feel right in here. Stretching. And as you feel that loosen up, you can let the hand pull you back a little bit. I'm just trying to do like 2 or 3 breaths for these. Usually accumulate like 10 minutes of stretching, and then I might do another 10 like later depending on how I feel. And since you can see, again, my back foot is down, but you can also go here. It all depends on which calf muscles able to do that. I've had it where I can't go toe flexed. Cramps up on me. Okay, last one. It's called a pretzel stretch. Kind of get into a pretzel. Okay, we're gonna go right over left. And then just exhale. You're pulling that knee across that hip. And I like looking to my right side as that right knee is across the body. And then left knee comes in. Hand comes down. And pulls in. Now you can skip this one if you're too tight. The main thing here is just relaxing. Well, I know I said in the beginning I was going to do just one side, but I'll just keep talking through it. And we'll switch other side. So I really find that stretching really helps that soreness, stiffness, and I suggest doing that. Man, especially if I do like a 20 miler or 15 plus, stretching, 2 to 3 times, I'll accumulate maybe, up to an hour and a half of recovery throughout the day. And I find that's probably one of the hardest parts is being disciplined and consistent with that recovery. Okay, now I'm gonna shower, get kind of back together again, throw some food in, and I'll keep you updated with the eating process and how much I have to refuel after something like that. Post-run meal 1, we got about 60 grams of carrots, a little under 100 grams of potatoes, 60 grams of broccoli, and then a few ounces of tofu. I've been going a little more plant-based, so that's why tofu's in there. Easily substitute for chicken. I sautéed the tofu in lemon pepper, garlic powder, salt and pepper for a while, and then I baked the vegetables with oil at 400 for about 20 or so minutes with Italian seasoning garlic powder. I love garlic powder. At about 28 ounces of water with this post gym, one of my favorite supplements. BCAAs, glutamine, more creatine. I mainly take it for the BCAAs and the creatine. Glutamine is for muscle recovery though. One of my favorite supplements of all time. And then I want you to take a close look. Never eat mindlessly. Okay, so I got all these grapes on here. I'm shooting for like 100 to 150 grams depending on how I feel. But yeah, that is meal one. I highly suggest for recovery a little elevation and some compression socks. So this is something I do especially after long runs. Nap and blanket are optional. Alright, so I got stuff packed up. I'm gonna have another meal right now, about an hour, almost 2 hours after that tofu stuff. I'm broken this up into snacks, so surprising, cinnamon toast crunchers. I'm gonna have some of these, just a quick stuff mixed with whey protein, almond milk. Another snack is gonna be this Larry and Lenny's cookie and some cashews, and probably that orange, maybe the orange and the cottage cheese. There's gonna be a half a cup in that cottage cheese there. It's for a drink, Hydra Charge by Cage Muscle. I love this stuff. Just basically gets that water in fast. There's like some calcium and electrolytes and things like that in there. As for the Larry and Lenny's, that 16 grams of protein is for one whole cookie, and that's going to net you like 420 calories. So that's why I like to eat it. The cashews in there, there's like an ounce and a half. It's going to be like close to 300 calories in there as well. Oven is preheated. I am going to throw in these meatless, plant-based chicken tender things that my sister recommended to me. I've been going a little more in that plant life. Then mixed with one of these. These are super, just a quick meal. I usually pick up something like this once a week at the grocery store for something quick. And the pizza bowl. So the garbanzo beans will be my protein source in there. Mixed, I'll probably bring some chocolate protein with me too. Cage Muscle isolate. I will leave the description of this in the bottom there for the recipe. But yeah, and this will get me through work and the afternoon here. See you in the next video. Alright, it's 10:30. I got a little bit of yogurt and honey to finish off the day. Had about 5,000 calories on the watch. We are at about 5,000. Okay, so I don't necessarily have to put back all those calories that I burned. However, with the physique goals for the bodybuilding of things, I'm not just a marathon runner or triathlete. I'm trying to do all of them, trying to build muscle, and prove what is do the difficult, obviously. So I like having that challenge. So last little stretch I'm going to show you guys is stretch and talk. So you got hamstring. So just having those routines in place really helps. So these little stretching routines, like 10-minute blocks, kind of keeps going up on that. Having those food preps helps me keep getting those calories in. You gotta train the stomach just as much as you gotta train the body, or the stomach is a part of the body. And I hope this doesn't seem like geez, it's impossible to, because it's really not impossible. Going in the quad, it just requires a lot of work, and when you have those routines in place, it honestly feels good to have it going, to be able to show yourself what you can do in that day. It doesn't feel like such a long day when you do have these things prepped, from that food to these routines. You just kind of work them in, and suddenly you're hitting your goals, and it really doesn't seem like work. It's your quad stretch. I always like squeezing that glute. And last but not least, your glute.
sitting up tall, and then I kind of like to lean into this, pulling that foot in, get that front of that calf stretching. I hope you guys enjoyed a day in the life of marathon training, 20-mile run, and I will see you in the next episode.